Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Tuesday Night Music Show. You may see this on a Tuesday. You may see it on I don't know.
Whenever.
We've got Howie and John tonight.
Hello.
I asked these guys some questions about a class reunion I have coming up in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Music questions. See what they are thinking. But before we get into that, John decided that we should name a great album at the top of every show. So why don't we go around and find out a great album, just one recommendation for our viewers to check out. Who would like to go first?
I can lead us off if you like.
Go ahead.
I got one that I was sad that I didn't bring up in the last couple of go-rounds.
Perfect.
How did I forget this one? Only because I saw it on a cassette out in my garage when I was moving stuff around. I'm like, oh, that's one we should talk about. We should talk about Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Oh.
That had Ironic and Head Over Feet and You Learn and You Ought to Know. And
Right.
that was a game changer. That was like the start of the angry women's movement.
Yeah, the women's music movement.
You know, that caught me by surprise. I was like, ooh, she's a feisty one, and she got a potty mouth too. I like her.
I remember we had just bought a brand new neon, Stevie's mother and I, and she was very excited about getting this CD. So we were driving around and I popped it. You know how DJs listen to CDs?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you listen to a track and if it doesn't catch your attention, like in 5 seconds, you skip it.
Yep. First chorus and then jump.
I jumped the whole CD. And she's like, what did you do that for? I said, because I didn't hear anything on here that I want to listen to. That was terrible. And then she got very upset and I had to listen to the damn thing. And then it was, what were the other ones? Indigo Girls and Meredith Brooks had that freaking bitch song. And
yes. All that little
Sarah McLachlan, and yeah, it was this big thing where it was they called it women's music, I believe.
Natalie Merchant, Tori Amos, all them coming.
Yes, Natalie Merchant. Was it Sunday Came Home? Was that her song?
That was her. Yep.
Yeah,
Came Home with a Vengeance. Yeah.
Yeah, something wasn't going right there.
They're so angry. Where have all the cowboys gone?
Where are the cowboys gone? Yeah, you go have a beer. Yeah. She was not happy.
No, they weren't happy. In 91, that was a tough year for them, I guess.
And then what was it after that? The big festival, was it Lilith Fair?
Yeah, Lilith Palooza or something, right?
Lilith Fair, I think it was. The women's music tour that went around. Kind of like Ozfest, but not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But John's right. If you haven't heard the album, you should listen to it. There's a lot of songs on there that did hit.
Yeah, there's like three singles at least to the top 10 in Billboard.
There's more than that. There's more than that.
Yeah.
You know what's odd about that, though? I actually like Alanis Morissette, but I don't like anything on that album. The one that I like that she did a lot, and I brought it up, I don't know, probably a couple of years ago here, and a lot of you hadn't heard of it, was she did her own version of Crazy. Seal's Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Like, I like it better than Seal's version.
Well, speaking of Alanis Morissette, Nick and Britt, Nick from Promo Only and his wife Britt, had just gone to see Alanis Morissette last week, and they gave rave reviews. They thought she did a great job.
I liked her in Dogma, too.
Yeah.
She played God, I think, in Dogma, didn't she? Yeah, she played God. She was God in Dogma. And she didn't say anything, but she made some noises and it was cute. Howie, do you have a great album for us?
Yes, I do. And just because I was doing a deep dive again today, board, King Crimson,
Okay.
They, and I can't think of the, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, I believe it was, wasn't it? Or
that was Genesis.
That was Genesis. Okay. I can't think of the name of the King Crimson one, but in any event, they've had 21 different members throughout their career, and they still tour. But the musicians that King Crimson has had have gone on to found other bands. They're like the mother lode of famous musicians now,
right?
And that would be my pick. Although it is older, but a lot of these guys are still playing. And King Crimson, in another alliteration, they are still playing as well.
I think the one I'm thinking of this week, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I'm kind of with John. I want to talk about women in music.
Okay,
all right.
I'm kind of there with you. The one I'm thinking about that is just outstanding, and if it's worth a listen, grab it, check it out. It'd be Pat Benatar's "Crimes of Passion" album.
Oh yeah, I was thinking either her or Joan Jett. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Man.
I think a lot of people think they're interchangeable, but Pat does her own stuff.
Yes.
Joan Jett, I don't know that she's ever written anything. She covers things. Right. Not to say she's not cool, but Pat Benatar, "Crimes of Passion" was pretty neat. The big song on there was "Hit Me With Your Best Shot."
Yeah, and her husband is the guitarist, and they collaborate together. So
I didn't know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
like Neil Giraldo. Does it ring a bell?
Yeah, something like
his
that.
name?
But
something like that.
Imagine that. Oh my God, the creative energy in that house.
She's a classically trained singer.
Yeah.
So she hits some really crazy notes. But like if you see her, she's definitely a rocker,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's got that bad girl look to her. Kind of a Joan Jett, but different with shorter hair. The shorter haired ones were always the ones you had to look out for.
Gotcha.
Would you go up and ask her for $1?
No. No. What I mean by that is, anybody looks cool with a full head of hair. Guys, girls, doesn't matter. But if you've got short hair and you can still pull it off, you're cool.
Yeah.
You're very cool.
Yeah.
She does that. There's a lot of really good songs on there, though. There's some neat stuff, and definitely worth a listen. It's
bang out some singles too, just on the whole. Her greatest hits record is like a double album set with 35 songs, and you'll know every single song on it. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I get confused as I know "Hell's for Children's" on that album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is Fire and Ice on that one?
I think that came later. That might have been on Precious Time, a little further down the road.
Right. Precious Time and Crimes of Passion, I do get mixed up. And what is on? They're all good songs. But I was thinking of "You Better Run," I think is on that one.
"You Better Run," "Never Want to Leave."
It's a really cool song.
Yeah.
I had seen the other day, that was the second video ever played on MTV. So the first one, Video Killed the Radio Star, Buggles.
Right.
Second video was Pat Benatar, "You Better Run."
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I learned something new. I love it. There you go.
Totally agree. That's a great record.
So there's some albums you guys can check out if you were thinking, gee, I'd love to listen to a great album, but I don't know where to go. You got 3 choices. You got 3 different ones. And if you check these albums out, you want to let us know in the comment section which one you liked, what you liked about them, let us know. And Howie monitors these comments pretty closely.
Yeah.
He'll respond to you. Somebody will eventually respond.
I will. And if you have a question or a suggestion for a topic, we'll cover it on the Monday night show.
So, I have a class reunion coming up in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
what year?
Anybody want to take a guess what year?
I'm gonna say 90s something.
No. 80s.
80s?
88.
Oh. No. 1977.
For real?
For reals.
Oh
1977
gosh.
reunion in Chicagoland. Buddy threw the gig my way. And
I had that one 80s reunion, but those people are all in their 60s.
Well, these folks are
77. You're getting
77. Yeah, they're not your age yet, but they're up there.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously nobody's my age.
No, it's not a big deal. I mean, what would they be? You figure if they were 17 and 77, they'd be like 62 now. You know?
Yeah.
So it's not like ancient or anything, but typically you hear about the 20-year reunions. That's a big thing. You know, those are 10-year, 20-year. Yeah, man, this is a 40-year reunion. So I have that coming up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I had a
That's
Zoom
what
meeting.
mine was supposed to be. Yeah. But
I was Zoom meeting with them tonight. I think what they want to do is there's a portion of the evening where they're going to be doing a slideshow and people are going to be.
I knew it. I knew it.
Of course. I mean, they're putting it together. I have nothing to do with it.
Good.
I'll be helping them with it as far as, you know, running it and kind of doing the music behind it and such. I'll be soundtracking the slideshow. And I think they really wanted to do music from 1977. And something I pointed out to him was, well, you guys graduated in June of 77? So you only got 6 months worth of albums. And you were probably still listening to stuff from 76, even your senior year.
A few years back, maybe even to, you know, early 70s, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 years of high school. It's, you know, really open from like 73 to 77, because that's when you're developing your musical culture and figuring out what you like. And geez,
but don't you guys go 4 years after as well? Because a lot of them are still young enough to party, haven't been married, or go to college. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years before and 4 years after.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking in general, but they really want the vibe of when we were in school. That's what they want.
Okay.
And I got to thinking about it.
That's cool.
I got to thinking about specifically 76, 77. A lot of those songs from those 2 years are still hot today. Like, you still hear them, you know, in rotation on classic hit radio. They're kind of staples.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah. Now, I don't have a list of the music from 1976 or 1977 in front of me, but off the top of my head, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's lexicon for us. Like, we know it. Like, it's on repeat in our heads. I thought it would be interesting. And I suggested to them, and they loved the idea, but I didn't expand on it because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it. I thought it would be interesting if I was going to do that during the slideshow, not the whole evening, but during the slideshow, just to kind of create some ambience. I thought it would be interesting to grab the tracks that you're not still hearing on classic hit stations. The songs that they know, but they forgot about. The oh yeah songs from the mid 70s. So I was going to tap into your brains and see what you were thinking. Now, some of these songs are popular again, but they're not necessarily lexicon songs again. Immediately in my head, I went to Silver with Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang.
Okay.
That was like right there, you know. Afternoon Delight would work, but that's a lexicon song. You see what I mean?
Very recognizable stuff, yeah.
Where Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang isn't as recognizable, and it's more, I feel like stuff like that, to go a little deeper.
So that's where you want us to go deeper? Okay.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. This is my logic on it.
I'm there.
As a DJ, and dare I say an artist, where I'm creating ambience, if I go with songs that they know but forgot about versus songs that they know and they hear every day, it's more likely to pull them back into that space of high school. You see what I mean?
Yes.
That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So, I mean, you don't have to tell me the exact year or anything else, but when you think about the mid 70s and you're thinking about songs that you're not hearing all the time, that you think might be unusual for the average person to hear and say, oh my gosh, I forgot all about this. What comes to mind for you?
77? I would have been 8 years old, and 77 has a very specific timestamp for me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the dining room table putting together a puzzle. There's a picture of the Boston Bruins hockey team putting the pieces in. And we heard on the news on the radio on August 16th that Elvis Presley had passed away. And we had just purchased the blue vinyl of Moody Blue that had, Way Down and Moody Blue on it and all those songs.
Right.
So that's a timestamp date that certain things in your life happened before that, and then everything else happened.
Right.
Or Elvis after Elvis.
Yes.
So that's where 77 puts me, along with the great stuff from the Bee Gees that was happening. And
right.
But Elvis would be a lost track. Everyone remembers a few off that record, but I think he did a cover of Unchained Melody from the Righteous Brothers on it. He had, I think he covered Always on My Mind on it. So there's a few good tracks on there. Is that being a 77 summertime right at graduation? That'll definitely hit them if they were
right.
Of the age
they were already out of school when that happened, though.
Yeah, but that's the summer of graduation. That was
right.
Big news. That's all it was on television for days. Was remembering the King and this and that. So I definitely worked some Elvis in late model Elvis.
Yeah, I moved to California in 1976, so I got a timestamp there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, what in the hell was blowing my mind when we hit the ground? What were we hearing? I can't even think right now. I mean, I know what we were listening to when I lived there, but what was hot? I can't even think what was hot.
I have several that are kind of off radar.
Sure. What do you got?
I would go.
Now remember, these don't have to be dance songs. Just cool songs.
Just cool songs.
Yeah.
Like Hooked on a Feeling, Blue Suede.
So there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
And all right, 77 exactly would be I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You, the Alan Parsons Project.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll Be Good to You, Brothers Johnson. Was that 77? I seem to remember hearing that in the summer of 77.
So, yeah.
I seem to remember that. And that's a weird song if you know it.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was a weird song. I thought it was one of the coolest choruses in a pop song.
Mm-hmm.
But the verses are god-awful boring. It's one of those weird songs where like they had a great hook and they couldn't build anything around it that was as cool as the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost sounds like two separate things are going on. They go to the chorus, it almost sounds like a different song. I don't know. I always felt that way. Like if they really would have had a great writer or producer with them, they could have built something cooler around that chorus.
Do you think that Mr. Blue Sky by the Electric Light Orchestra is too mainstream or?
No, I think those kind of things are good to play. The ELO stuff is good to play.
Yeah.
Mr. Blue Sky probably isn't. You're going all off Guardians of the Galaxy is what you're doing though, Howie.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so far you are.
No, I don't, because they stole my secret crate and bastards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff. I remember when I was cleaning up my hard drive library for music, I went year by year through the Hot 100 from 100 to 1, seeing what I had, see what I did. And if I read across a song title that I couldn't immediately sing, I went and listened to the song. But I mean, this was months ago I did it, but fix the date, fix the genre. Is it a hit from the 70s? Is it a filler from the 70s? Was it a country crossover or a slow jam? I mean, that'd be a good place to start. Just if you immediately you can't sing it from the song title, go give it a listen, and that'll be deep enough. It probably depends where you live geographically.
Okay, here I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm just because it's the live broadcast and I don't want to bore people with goofy suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going straight to 1976 because we're safely within the boundaries of 77 at that point.
Sure.
These are songs they heard their junior year, the last part of their junior year, all summer, really up through senior year. These are the songs.
Yep. Okay. Most likely still on the radio, like you say.
Well, some yes, some no. That's what's kind of crazy about this. Because if you look at it, there's stuff on here that totally, people have forgotten about. There's some that people should forget about. So if I look at number 100, I would never play it, but Country Boy, You Got Your Feet in LA by Glenn Campbell. Squeezebox by The Who, which I don't like. A Lexicon song, Take the Money and Run, Steve Miller Band.
Yeah.
Okay. Disco Duck Rick Dees was 1976. Rock and Roll All Night Kiss was 76. Barry Manilow Trying to Get the Feeling Again.
How about Listen to the Music? The Doobie Brothers. That was 76, I think.
That's a lexicon tune, though. And a lot of these are, but some of them aren't. I'm looking for the ones that are not, like Boys Are Back in Town, Thin Lizzy. Everybody knows that.
All right. Undercover Angel, Alan O'Day.
Yeah, that's good, but I think that was later.
77.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Just later.
Yeah, it's like the birth of yacht rock is right in there, and you could probably pull some stuff in, like like Maxis and
Queen. You're my best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, Starship with Your Love. Starship with Your Love is 76.
Yeah, those are lexicon songs too, though.
With Your Love, you don't hear too much. You hear Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
No, but maybe. I know Runaway is, I don't remember what year that came out. It's on a little bit different album, but it's all right there. What's on here that's goofy? Just that people just don't hear all the time. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm going to say 77, Little River Band, Help Is on the Way.
Well, you love that song. That's your jam.
But it works every time because they hardly ever hear it.
Yeah.
I had a CD once. It was called Party Killers. It was supposed to be kind of a joke. Like, these are the songs that weren't going to be good, but most of them were good songs.
Right.
It had Afternoon Delight on it. Playground in My Mind, I think. Like, my name is Bobby. I've got a, well, a lot of silly stuff like that. It had Muskrat Love on it.
Oh my God.
Stuff, like, you don't hear like too often. Just like the oddball stuff.
Oh,
okay. How about Devil Woman, Cliff Richard? That just
feels
a banger. There you go.
Banger. I still.
There you go. Yeah.
You still play Devil Woman, Cliff Richard?
Yep. Well, mostly around Halloween time, but sure.
Wow.
Well, how about Afternoon Delight?
Well, that's a lexicon tune, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
You think?
Maybe not. I'm just looking like Dream on Aerosmith. I mean, absolutely. Peter Frampton, Show Me the Way.
Stuff will make him giggle.
You don't want too high of a BPM. You don't want anybody breaking a hip here now. I mean,
exactly.
You could get away with like Pina Colada song. You could get away with or anything from Rupert Holmes.
Well, yeah, you absolutely.
That's his pocket. Well, if you could deep dive him, there's what they Answering Machine tune or.
I think that was later. That was on the same album as him, and that was 80, I think. Oh my gosh. Only 16, Dr. Hook. I forgot that song existed. Moonlight Feels Right, Starbuck. That's probably, I don't know. I know it really well, but I don't know if a lot of people do. Theme from SWAT. Oh, here's one that you don't hear anymore. Here's a cool one that you don't hear, and I think I will play. Maxine Nightingale, Right Back Where We Started From. No one's talking. You don't know that song.
Great song, Super Energy. Yeah, I mean that's like early disco. It was still kind of.
You know what? When I heard that song, I was like 5 years old. I remember saying to my sister, "This is a '60s throwback song," and she said, "How did you spot that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just know that it sounds like a '60s."
Yeah, you can sing Jimmy Mac along with the beat.
There was never a 12-inch single of that. I know that because I've tried to find it and I can't. So that was just it wasn't like a disco remix kind of thing, but it's got that disco feel too, but it's more like
disco
Motown.
Adopted it. Yeah, it is. It's like a Motown. It's like clap along,
Yeah.
Stomp your feet kind of beat. But that's a great tune.
All right. I'll take a chance. I hope this isn't too lexicon, but let the good times roll. They're going to remember the good times. Come on.
I was thinking about something off of the Cars album too. And the one that I don't know, I couldn't get out of my head was Bye Bye Love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because it was one of those album tracks.
Yeah. It's not much of a commitment. 2 minutes and 30 seconds and you're out.
What year did that album come out? Did it come out in 77 or 78?
I think it was 78. The first Cars?
Good Times
First Cars album.
78.
First Cars, I think, was 76.
Yeah.
No. Surely not.
Because Shake It Up was coming out in like 80, 81, and they had 3 or 4 records out before that. They basically put out a record a year.
No. Well, I remember Candio was 79.
Yes.
And then Panorama was 80.
You can get away with that.
Shake It Up was 81 or 82.
They were still, the 4 years before and after thing. I'm going with that. Yeah, because they went to college. That's when they became seniors. That's when they really partied.
Yeah, but I love would be a good deep cut off that one.
What do you think the number one song from 1976 is on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 singles on 1976?
I don't know. I'll bet.
I really like it. I like this song a lot, by the way.
Oh, I was going to say, I'll bet it's a song I fucking hate.
Is it a slow jam?
No, it's not a slow jam. It's a song I really like. And I'm going to try to play it.
Captain and Tennille or something.
Dude, give us like one note. I can name that song in one note.
In one note, yeah.
You have to just think about it.
It's Wings with Silly Love Songs.
Oh, good tune.
I love that.
Well, now that I like that.
But you don't hear it all the time.
Not really. Not really. You don't hear it at Home Depot.
No. 2 is Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Elton John and Kinky D. I can't believe Johnny Taylor Disco Lady is 3. That kind of blows my mind. I was thinking that one was not that popular. It's not that popular.
I wouldn't see that as being a top 3 unless it just broke in at the very end of the year and came in hot. This disco is all starting to become all the rage.
So here's 75. 75. Some of these songs I really kind of thought that they came out later, but this is 75. There's some neat ones here. There's some songs here I would not play because they're almost cringeworthy. I like them, like Neil Sedaka's Laughter in the Rain. I would not play, but I like the song. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would not play Minnie Riperton Loving You. I would not do that.
Break all the
Carl Douglas. Well, I might play Carl Douglas's Kung Fu Fighting. That might happen.
Oh, geez.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could. A lot of
it could. Yeah. But please, for the love of God, don't play Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Oh, please. I will try to avoid it.
That was 77. I'll never forget that.
No. I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad's a nice song, but that one's terrible.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just wondering if I could find some tunes that were a little different, stuff that you didn't hear all the time that were, we forgot about. Like, okay, Grand Funk Bad Time. That's a song you don't hear every day. And that's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
What else here? There's some here like You Are So Beautiful, Joe Cocker. It's cringeworthy. Somewhere on here is You Light Up My Life, I'm sure, in no way.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else.
Too far into the cheeso-meter there.
Yeah. John Denver, I'm sorry. I mean, this is stuff that this is music to commit Harry Carey to. This is not.
Well, yeah, if you're doing John Denver, there's so many better cuts you can pick. So
America's Lonely People was 75. Traveris, It Only Takes a Minute was 75. I don't know. There's neat stuff on here. Jethro Tull, Bungle in the Jungle.
Yeah, Bungle. That was weird.
That certainly was a vibe.
Yeah. Yep. Some of these songs I don't know. Third Rate Romance by Amazing Rhythm Aces. I don't know that song. I don't think I do. 98, and I can't believe it's 98. It should be much higher than 98. Is You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Bachman Turner Overdrive. I would think they'd be way up there. Something called Third Rate Romance I've never heard before is above that one.
You got nothing.
Yeah.
Can't say it just rolls right off. Like
it does not roll right off.
No, we forget about them too. We can only keep so much.
Hey, how about Don't Call Us, We'll Call You Sugar Love? You don't hear that very often. It's a cool song.
Well,
it's almost got that rock and roll hoochie coo vibe to it.
You're liable to have some old punk rockers and that was prime time. I mean, I could rattle off a crap load of that, like Iggy Pop, Lust for Life.
Lust for Life, yeah.
Yeah, Ian Dury, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, there's a ton of that. I mean, Sex Pistols, 77. Anarchy in the USA, God Save the Queen, you know. Well,
or the UK,
probably,
one or the other, one of those places.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Psycho Killer, Talking
Yeah,
Heads,
Talking Heads.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell who the punk rockers are unless they're hardcore and they're in their 70s and they've got their hair dyed purple, you know.
You know what's really odd about it? I have no point of reference because I was in California when I was a kid when that happened, in this era, and it was a weird vibe out there, and it was a neat vibe. I know Chicago is always different, and I know what Chicago was when I moved here. It was the house. It was very much dance music. That was Chicago. I have no idea what Chicago was in the 70s. I mean, I have no point of reference to it. Like, it was probably rock. It was probably disco too, but it was probably a lot of rock, you know?
Up top 40 pop on the rocky side, you know, like
it's probably more like what was going on in Boston at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people have been divorced and have, you know, acrimony with their ex. So maybe Talking Heads, Psycho Killer, 77.
Cheaper to keep her.
I know the story behind that one. Anything about the Clash.
I'll go back and forth though, because I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll do some R&B, I'll do some rock, I'll do some top 40.
Yeah,
it'll be that rotation.
Great time period for music.
And how about Blondie hanging on the telephone? You don't hear that a lot, you know.
I don't remember hearing Blondie until Heart of Glass, and I know that was 78, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 78, and One Way or Another was 78. Yeah.
Yeah, so a little late. No, later on in the evening, I might do something different. Now, it's weird because the event starts at like 6 and they're doing cocktail remotely. And I've got like an hour window to do background, to do fun background. And then I kick off into dancing. So I was thinking about just kind of doing those songs that reflect the era, you know. I mean, you know what I could do, actually?
Yeah.
You know what I could do? And I think it would work really well. And I didn't even think about this. I could do stuff off the Dazed and Confused soundtrack. I mean, that's 76.
You could.
You know?
All of that. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, Free Ride and, you know, whatever else. Oh, Sweet Emotion, I think, was in there. And there's, I don't know. I just thought it would be something interesting to talk about. I mean, if you were in this position, if you were all of a sudden, you know, told, hey, you've got to go do a class of 77 reunion and you got an hour to really hit something that you feel like may kind of put their high school years in a nutshell, what would you play? And that's what I'm trying to think of. Those are the songs. That's what my brain is.
Like you're doing, like low BPM through dinner, like Beach Baby, First Class, and stuff that's just kind of like stuff they can kind of like groove to, but not the cringeworthy ones, like you say.
Right.
But like sticking the forks in their ears.
Yeah.
Oh, you light up my life.
But you will have to go through different genres because that was high school. You had so many different cliques. And I mean, you know, from the punk rockers to the socials to the jocks. And I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of territory to cover.
What was the really hot album rocker on that time? And what was like the album? Because I mean, I can tell you, what was it? 78 was Van Halen, you know, and
before that, like Foghat, and you know,
when did Led Zeppelin 4 come out? Is that 76, 75, or 76?
Is that the one with all the
ruins
windows on it?
No, that's Physical Graffiti.
Okay.
I'm talking about Black Dog. First time I ever heard Black Dog, I lived in California. What year did that album come out?
475.
Well,
it was right there, wasn't it? Because that was hot. That was the album. Everybody had it.
They were only together for a short time.
Well, they had done stuff.
It was
their fourth album, so they had done things.
Yeah.
But 4 was hot. 4 was Stairway to Heaven, you know. So what else was happening right around that time? Sabbath was kind of over, if I remember right.
Just out of curiosity, Brian, you still have the 76 chart up on your machine there?
I took it down, but I can pull it back up.
Just out of all that we've mentioned, I thought it was funny. You mentioned Maxine Nightingale, but as far as usually you're playing like a 50-50 crowd of men and women, like we didn't name too many female artists on that. I was just curious, what are the ladies?
Well, they're there. Elton John and Kiki D, which hell, I might play it. You haven't heard that one in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to find a female artist. Well, Starland Vocal Band Afternoon Delight's there.
Okay.
Silver Connected.
Like Aretha or Diana Ross or
Diana Ross on Hangover.
Okay.
Hey, if I could pander to our friend from Boston, Walk This Way, Aerosmith, 75.
Yeah, they'll all know it.
more. Andrea True Connection.
Okay.
I think one of the big albums of that era was the Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
I mean, it just. What did it have? It must have had 6 different #1 singles.
Right. And I think Rumors hit in 77.
Yeah. And, and the Bee Gees, You Should Be Dancing. That's 70. That's 75.
Well, that's 77 as well.
Oh, is it?
Well, Saturday Night Fever was 77, but a lot of those songs were from a year previous. But to answer your question, John, I got Dorothy Moore, Misty Blue. We don't want to do that one. Female artists, I'm looking here.
Just groups. I mean, they could be,
Vicky Sue Robinson turned the beat around.
Oh, that's still a heavy rotation today too. That's
Captain Tennille is on here. Donna Summer, Love to Love You, Baby.
Well, all right. Is this on there? I Want You to Want Me, Cheap Trick, Live at Budokan.
I think that's 78. I think it is.
77.
Is it 77?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was 78. There's a lot of Captain and Tennille on here. Staple Singers are here with Let's Do It Again.
And now that marijuana is legal, maybe you'll have your stoners listen to Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville, 77.
Oh, God. Probably like it.
They probably would.
Yeah. Foghat's on here. Slow Ride, 76.
Okay.
You've got Black Betty, Ram Jam, 77.
Was that 77?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a whole bunch of female artists on here. You're right, Sean.
It just seems a little.
It's mostly men.
Driven, It's just nice to change the tone of the voices sometimes that are singing. It's just playing guys all night.
You're right. So just out of curiosity, because this is interesting, let's look at female artists in 77. There's some surprising stuff on here already that I just kind of glanced at and didn't know.
You didn't bump into Olivia Newton-John in 76 on anywhere, or was she still doing the country stuff?
DJ and Company, Devil's Gun. I believe that's a disco track, and that one has female vocals in it, heavily female.
Yeah,
vocals.
and you'll have Pat Benatar in there for sure.
Pat Benatar doesn't happen until 80, I don't think.
Patti Smith will be there for sure.
Because the Night, I don't know what year that was.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big song, though. Huge song.
Later 70s. It was huge. It was on the Horses album.
So the first one I'm seeing here, ABBA, Knowing Me, Knowing You. There's women in that.
Mm-hmm.
ABBA's got a lot of great music, too, that people don't know some of the deeper cuts. That's a good pocket to play into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump like Fernando.
Captain Steel, Muskrat Love.
No. Please don't play that.
I'm looking for female artists because he asked.
Yeah, no, see if we can.
Rose Royce, I want to get next to you.
I want to get next to you.
Well, if you need female voices, anything from Fleetwood Mac, it's female voices.
Carly Simon, Nobody Does It Better.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of like
Rubber Band Man. I thought it was earlier than that.
That's got a great groove.
Yeah.
That's a great song. I might just play it just because it's so good. Supertramp, Give a Little Bit. That I didn't realize was there. Looking for female or singers that are female. I'm Barbra Streisand, My Heart Belongs to Me. No. Helen Reddy, You're My World. No. Oh, Hearts Barracuda's here.
Okay.
There you go.
Rockers would love that one.
Lexicon song, but still a great song.
Okay, well, here's one I could probably get away with, unless they're listening to yacht rock stations. Would be Andrew Gold, "Lonely Boy."
Yeah,
I mean that's one that kind of encompasses, what's happening at the time.
Yeah,
I wouldn't limit myself to just like off the beaten path songs. So they're going to want to hear those Lexicon songs, like
they will, but I want to mix something in between. I don't want it to sound like
huge.
rockin' Steve's DJ service out of Stupidville, Ohio. I want to do something interesting, so I want to throw those weird ones in there. Daz Brick is on here.
Mm-hmm.
The Jacksons, "Enjoy Yourself." When the hell's the last time you heard that song?
Take It Easy.
Yeah, A+ to the.
Why, like an Eagles, Steve Miller Band says, "Don't Give Up on Us, David's Soul."
Mm-hmm.
On and on, Stephen Bishop. Oh my gosh. You don't have to be a star to be in my show. Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Car Wash is here.
How about are the Emotions on there?
They were on 77, I think.
Yeah. Best of My Love, Emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
We pull those energy ones for like the dance portion. We threw all those for the later in the night.
Well, I mean, and that goes into what you were saying earlier, and I absolutely 100% agree with you that you don't want to just focus on the graduating year. You want to go 4 years before, 4 years after to hit that. But stuff's happened to these people, I've said it before. Yeah. I'll say it again. My mother is 81 years old, and she digs Maroon 5. So
I know. I was just going to say, everybody has radio, Sirius, or whatever.
The only reason I wanted to stay in the pocket, which is the word I'll use for this, for this segment, is because of the slideshow. I wanted them to have the visual of them in high school and music that was happening when they were in high school. After that, I don't care. But I wanted to try to stay in and they liked the idea too, to stay in the pocket for that, just for that. After that, who cares? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'll go all over the place.
Oh, that's a great strategy.
80s, 90s, whatever. But I don't know, just some thoughts.
You're going to be fine with that. They're just, at least in my experience, when you say, the dance hour, it's not going to be a dance hour for people at that age.
Oh, well, I just mean when it's time to turn it up a little bit. And, it'll be.
You'll have a lot of sing-alongs, though. You will.
The first class,
bob and sing along, and you'll have a lot of that.
The very first class reunion I ever did, I remember it. It was the class of 1969. And I remember I was a teenager when I did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being so surprised on how hot some of the women were. I was like, wow, they're pretty hot, for like pushing 40. They're really hot, whatever. That'd be 20-year reunion for them, But they all wanted to hear new stuff,
Yeah.
So they were asking for like, Pump Up the Jam and Buffalo Stance and
sure,
whatever. Well, so I got it with Soon 77.
And they have kids that are listening to things that they can't help but hear the new stuff.
20 years for 77. I mean, that'd have been 97. So that would have been OMC's How Bizarre, and not that I'd play that, but Hadaway's What Is Love and Another Night and maybe a lot of 80s tracks, as well. So I don't think we have to, they'll have fun.
The segment you're doing, the throwback tracks, I think it'd be great. You're going to bring back a lot of great memories and plenty things will make them think of other songs too,
Yes.
Yeah, and you're not going to need that many songs for a slideshow. Like, you're not doing an hour-long slideshow, are you?
I'm probably doing about 45 minutes.
Wow.
Well, remember, this is during dinner. This is happening during dinner.
Okay.
They've put it together.
Okay.
And so that's where that's where my weird artistic brain is going. Let's keep it in the pocket for that because they got a visual of them in high school.
Yeah.
Let's give them something to listen to and give them another mental cue to bring them back.
Yeah.
And then when that's over with, let's do whatever we want.
Yeah. Yeah, doing it.
That's why I'm so funny about 1977. When in 77?
Yeah.
Because they were out of school in June. There were 6 more months in the year. Who knows where their lives took them? So let's bring it back to that moment they were in the picture, what they might have been listening to, what might have been hot. I mean, that'd have been Boston. I mean, really, that's more of a lexicon track, but I want to mix in the weird ones too. So.
Oh, Lori put in the comment section, nobody does it better. Carly Simon.
Carly Simon's Why You Love Me. Yep, that was on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I don't know. It'll be interesting. What I'll do, this is going to be like, not next week's show, but the week after this, when we record the show, which you won't see until probably Easter next year. But when you do see it, I'll actually give you a list of what I played. I'll save the playlist and I'll tell you what I ended up playing.
That'll be cool.
And then I'll tell you what I played later on.
See if they wanted to stay in the pocket or do they want to hear?
They will not want to be
happy.
They might be like your mom and they want Maroon 5.
That could happen.
I can almost guarantee you they will come up to me sometime towards the end of dinner and say, do you have anything besides this old crap? I'm pretty confident this is exactly what's going to happen. So we're going to just roll with it. I don't know. Well, it was a different kind of show, maybe a little less organized than we normally do, but that's saying a lot right there because we're not normally very organized at all. But yeah, that's good enough. It's a good ending spot, right?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
It's a good way to show people procedurally how you brainstorm and put some ideas together and say, I'm not walking into this blind. I have a general concept of how I can pull this off.
No, it was fun. A lot of great songs were thrown out there too. So
I really want to do something Wings. And I keep going back to Listen to What the Man Said. That's the one that I keep going back to. I got to figure out what year that came out. But like I said, after dinner, I don't care where I go, but because there's visuals, I want to stay in the pocket. That's the only reason.
I love it.
When did Ringo Starr's Photograph hit? All I got is a photograph. That goes great.
I think that was 76.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, 76.
There's a couple Ringo tunes on the Hot 100 and 76.
Mm.
But, we'll let you know how it goes.
Alrighty.
And I'll probably also play Ain't Gonna Bump No More with No Big Fat Woman by Joe Tex, because that was a big one in 77.
Because the titles alone.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It almost didn't fit on the 45. They had to go around the other side of it.
Right. All right, kids. That's it. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Good night.